So guys, another week and we are back for another episode of the Championship Transfer Rumour Roundup. Let's jump into it. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. It feels like a while since we've done the last one of these, but we've got a bunch of completed transfers to go over, as well as all the transfer rumours which are going around the Championship at the moment. Now, tomorrow will be the return of our weekly score predictions. Those videos usually come out on the Friday, but as the first one of every season, I like to put it out a day in advance on the Thursday. If we get 400 likes on today's video, that would be massively appreciated. But without any further ado, let's hop into some completed transfers. Starting out with Adam Reach, who has completed the move to West Brom on a free transfer. It'll be interesting to see what position they're looking to use him in, because he is pretty versatile. You know, he can play as a wing back. He's played up front for Wednesday at times. He played in midfield for them. I think his best position is still probably out on the wing, but he's had a tough couple of years at Wednesday, and so yeah, he's now looking to get his career back on track at West Brom. Tom Lees has completed the move to Huddersfield as they continue to look to get some more bodies into that back line and strengthen that defence, which conceded quite a few goals last season. Aaron Leah-Ezeka has completed the move to Barnsley, who comes in as another option up front. They were looking a little bit light in that area, and so Barnsley fans will be thankful to have got this deal over the line. The striker came through the youth ranks at Anderlecht before making the move over to Toulouse in 2018, and the other day he completed his move to Barnsley for an undisclosed fee. Kwan Poku has completed the move to Peterborough United after having a couple of good years with Colchester, and they also completed the deal for Exeter's Joel Randall. This Peterborough squad is really starting to shape together quite nicely at the moment. Dishon Bernard has completed a season-long loan move to Hull City after doing well for Salford last season. Moses Oduajo's move to QPR has been finalised after he's looked really quite sharp for them in pre-season. Looks like Mark Warburton may be able to get him back to his best. Josh Benson has completed the move from Burnley to Barnsley. Blackpool completed the loan deal of Tyrese John-Jules, who comes on loan for this season from Arsenal. George Byers has completed the move to Sheffield Wednesday as he departs from Swansea. I know that quite a few Swansea fans did have high hopes for Byers and what he could develop into the future, but yeah, he's gone to Wednesday. Chelsea fullback Ian Matston has completed a season-long loan move to Coventry. They were looking for a little bit more in this position after Sam McCallum's loan spell had run out. Michael Preston North End have got a deal over the line for Daniel Iverson, who arrives on loan for the season from Leicester. I'm absolutely buzzing about this deal and should hopefully mean that we can keep things tight at the back. Iverson is, for me, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Statistically, he showed that last season. I think he had the 4th best save percentage of any Championship goalkeeper last season. That's a big signing from North End right there. And the big deal that we've seen go through is Sam Surridge completing a permanent move from Bournemouth to Stoke. Now, Stoke were keen to bolster their attacking options coming into this season after having a little bit of an over-reliance on a couple of players from last season. You know, Tyrese Campbell, probably Nick Powell in the second half of the season. Well, Sam Surridge comes in as another option to that forward line. The fee being talked around is around about 2.5 million as an initial fee, which could rise up to around 5.5 million with add-ons. Now, Surridge didn't really get much of a chance to shine at Bournemouth last season. He was sort of seen as the understudy to Dom Solanke, who played the majority of minutes for them up front last season. He has scored goals in the Championship before, though, after previously having a loan spell with Swansea, and so yeah, with regular game time, I'm interested to see what he can do, but yeah, Stoke not messing about with the money they're spending here. But guys, those are some of the completed deals which we've seen go through in the last week or so. Now, without any further ado, let's hop into these transfer rumours. So we'll start out the transfer rumours by talking about Manchester City striker Liam Delap, who is on the radars of a lot of Championship clubs at the moment. I think it's fair to say in previous episodes we spoke about North End being interested. Preston are still believed to be interested, although it looks like Stoke might be ahead of North End in the queue at the moment. Now, despite Stoke signing Sam Surridge, it doesn't rule them out of a deal for Liam Delap either, as they were believed to be in the market for a couple more forward options. At the end of the day, wherever Delap ends up, it's going to be the decision that's made by Manchester City. Stoke obviously have that link with Delap because of his dad. Preston, I'd like to think, have a decent relationship with Man City. You know, we took a few Man City players on loan over the years. Lucas Nemetja, I think, especially benefited from a year at North End, but West Brom have been another club who have been mentioned with the Manchester City striker. So yeah, this one, I think, only a matter of time before City sort of make a final decision on what his future is for the year. Next up then, let's let's talk about the Matheus Pereira situation, because there's quite a bit to unpack with this story. A lot's happened with it over the last week or so, and I'd love to get some West Brom fans' thoughts on this one in the comments down below. So, Al Hilal is the team who is most interested in his services at the moment, and it seems like Pereira's head has sort of been turned and he is angling for this move at the moment. The other day he put a statement out on Twitter saying that he would like to leave West Brom because he's received what could be a life-changing offer for himself. Now, if it's to be believed, the wages that Al Hilal could be offering Pereira are around about £130,000 a week. Pereira said in his statement, 3 weeks ago I received an offer that would change my life and my family's life forever. For me to achieve financial freedom at 25 would be unimaginable. So Pereira clearly wants this move, and I think that West Brom would be happy to let him go if their fee for him, you know, their asking price, was to be matched. And so far, Al Hilal have got nowhere near matching it, and West Brom are said to want around about £30 million for the player, and so far the Saudi Arabian Football Club are way short of that valuation of him. So then we're sort of left in limbo for this transfer really, because I can see both sides of things. You know, from the player's perspective, you know, he wants this move, it would be life-changing money for him. From West Brom's perspective, they want to get good value for money for him, and that's only fair for them really. And The Athletic have recently been reporting that the player is currently training alone for the majority of the time and not within team training sessions. So this one could get really messy if nothing is resolved on this, but I have a feeling that more will come out on this as the weeks go on. I still anticipate there to be Premier League interest in Pereira, but maybe not any Premier League clubs will be willing to pay the wages that Al Hilal are. So yeah, that one will definitely be an interesting story to keep your eye on. A bit more positive news for West Brom fans though, as it looks like Sam Johnson might be staying with the club for this season in the Championship, which would be absolutely massive news right there. You know, I said it on a video before, if this does happen, you know, West Brom probably got the best goalkeeper in the Championship, which is a massive boost to any side's promotion odds. Now, in terms of Johnson, the two clubs that he's mostly been linked to so far in this window are West Ham and Arsenal. And with West Ham getting a deal over the line for Areola, and seemingly Arsenal more pursuing a deal for Aaron Ramsdale at the moment, that leaves Sam Johnson more than likely to end up staying at West Brom for this season, which, like I say, would be absolutely massive news if it was to happen. Nottingham Forest have reportedly had a 7-figure bid turned down for Reading midfielder Josh Laurent. Now, this would be a massive blow to Reading should they lose Laurent from that midfield. You know, him next to Rumour really was the heartbeat of that Reading side last season, and given the players that they've already lost in the likes of Omar Richards and Michael Elise, should they lose Laurent, who was, I think, featured in almost every game for them last season, yeah, it would be an absolutely massive blow to their side. Now, Paunovic has spoke about Laurent in the media since this news has come out, saying how big in his plans Laurent is for the upcoming season. You know, he's spoken quite positively about keeping him and things like that, but, you know, if Forest come in with an improved offer and start to really tempt Reading with the money that's on the table, then who knows for this one. But yeah, he would be an absolutely massive blow. I can see why the interest would be there from Forest, but Reading really can't afford to be losing him, can they? Both Blackburn Rovers and Middlesbrough have been linked to Aberdeen winger Ryan Hedges recently. He's coming off the back of a decent season with Aberdeen in Scotland, where he scored 9 goals in all competitions. Middlesbrough have been linked to about 100 players in this transfer window so far. Blackburn been a bit quieter at Ewood Park so far. Sticking with Middlesbrough, it looks as if a deal for Argentinian midfielder Martin Pereira has got over the line. We're just waiting on official confirmation of this one. I believe the player's currently in isolation at the moment, so Middlesbrough are waiting until that's done and over with to go ahead and officially unveil the player. But yeah, very excited about this one and what he could potentially do in the Championship this season. Now, the transfer saga surrounding Flamengo striker Rodrigo Munez has taken so many twists and turns that by the time I release this video, there's probably been 5 more bids that have been chucked in for the player from both Fulham and Middlesbrough, who do seem to be the front runners for this deal at the moment. Now, a couple of hours ago it came out that Fulham are closing in on his signing with a fee of around about £8 million being in place for this one. After that, it was then reported that Middlesbrough still aren't out of the race for the striker, with them upping their bid for him. And so where this current transfer saga stands is basically dependent on which journalist you believe more at the moment really, but both clubs have had a heavy interest in the player throughout this whole transfer window so far. I think from the outside looking in, Fulham would seem like the more likely destination, but Middlesbrough also don't seem willing to give up on this one easily. For all the speculation and hype that's built up around him this season, he better be good wherever he ends up. Sheffield United are said to be upping their pursuit of Liverpool defender Ben Davies as they continue to go after a left-sided centre-half. Now, we've already spoken about this transfer rumour quite a bit on the channel so far. I think he'd be a perfect fit into the Sheffield United side. Ben Davies for me is a top Championship player, could even be a lower half Premier League player for me. I think he's that good. Absolute Rolls Royce on the ball. Reportedly, Sheffield United did have their first offer rejected by Liverpool because Liverpool at the moment aren't open to a loan to buy deal, but instead they would be open to just a standard loan deal for the season. Celtic and Bournemouth have also been linked with him. Sticking with Liverpool, they'll be linked with the move for Bournemouth winger Arnason Danjuma. Now, he's been linked to a whole host of clubs at the moment. He's got his interest from Spain at the moment. I think we spoke about the Villarreal rumour last time. Loads of Premier League interest as well, and Liverpool have been the latest club to be linked to his services. It would take a bid of around maybe that 25 million mark for Bournemouth to sell. He was brilliant for them in the Championship last season. From what I've read so far, it seems as if he is on Liverpool's shortlist, but he's not quite at the top of it at this point in time. But more will unfold with this transfer as the weeks go on. Leeds United have been linked with a move for Huddersfield midfielder Lewis O'Brien. If you've been watching the channel for the past couple of years, you'll know how much of a fan I am of this guy. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Huddersfield are said to be sticking to their valuation of the player though of around about £10 million, and they won't be budged on that. So either Leeds pay that quite hefty price tag or he won't be going anywhere. He is central, I think, to Huddersfield's success this season, and should anything happen to him, you know, his importance next to Josh Koroma, they could find themselves in trouble. But yeah, an interesting one to keep your eye on nonetheless. West Brom have been linked with a move for Derby County winger and now Derby County captain Tom Laurent. Not really sure how much sense this one would particularly make. Laurent is set to be, you know, quite a crucial player for Derby this time around after being named captain by Wayne Rooney. You know, he is one of the few sort of maybe experienced heads in that dressing room at the moment. But with the options that West Brom have out wide at the moment being better than Laurent, I'm not sure how much there really is in this one. Speaking of Derby, Jason Knight also has his admirers in the Premier League at the moment, with both Newcastle and Burnley currently monitoring his situation. They need to be keeping hold of him at all costs. But guys, there we have it. There are some of the recent transfer rumours which are currently floating around the league. Like always, if we missed any today, make sure to get them in the comments down below. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Championship predictions coming out tomorrow for week 1. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.